So now the Magpie is flying back on course for a nest in the top 5. But those Brisbane Broncos, aliens to Sydney's West, are out to stop the flight, especially the one they call Alf.
Langer comes up with the 5th try for the Broncos today.
It's lucky round 7 of the Winfield Cup, but for who, as West shape up to Brisbane? The Brisbane Broncos on a very cool night too out in the west of Sydney. In fact, we've had quite a few showers around today, and unfortunately some rain has been predicted throughout this evening. Let's hope it stays away. A cool one, but Billy Anderson, a tough call for Western Suburbs after having 3 of their key men line up in the city country yesterday.
Well, it's cost them already, Graham, hasn't it, with no Andrew Farrer tonight, but let's look at what they have got, and what they have got is a very physical pack of forwards. You know, they put it to Canberra here a couple of weeks ago. They can put you off your rhythm, and that'll be their formula again tonight. But they still look pretty solid on paper. You've got Devine, Burns, Cogger, Ainscough, Casado, Henjack the captain, and Taylor. They're the backs, and have a look at that pack of forwards. Plenty of size and strength there. Liddon, Gibbs, Wynn, Gillespie, Thomas and Rampling. The coach, Warren Ryan.
Which way are you going?
Well, I've got to go for Brisbane, but I wouldn't like to be playing here tonight, and it'll be a tough one.
All right, well, Brisbane from Billy Anderson. The Broncos have been struggling a little bit away. Just the 1 win out of 3 this season, and good old Lang Park seems to desert them.
And it's easy to be demotivated after a long plane trip and also a long drive out here to Campbelltown. But I think with State of Origin spots still up for grabs in the Maroons outfit, the Broncos should certainly be motivated. And they've got a pretty good lineup tonight as well. At fullback sees Paul Hoff, who's also pressing for State of Origin honours if Gary Belcher's out. Willie Kahn comes into the side at the expense of the injured Michael Hancock. Renoff, Johns, Plowman, Walters, Alan Langer is the captain. Madison, G, Gilmister, James Donnelly comes in for the injured Gavin Allen. Kerrod Walters, Andrew Tesseman, and the coach is Wayne Bennett.
Langer to lead them to victory.
I think if the rain hangs off, which it probably will, it'll be Brisbane to win.
All right, well, Brisbane, so it's all Brisbane so far. Don't shock me, Peter Peters, with your favourite side, the Broncos. Is that the way you're travelling tonight?
No, it's not, Graham. I'm tipping it's a nice night for an upset here at Campbelltown, and although Western Suburbs will miss their key player, Andrew Farrer, in the back line, I think that Ivan Henjack will lead them to a victory. I think their forwards will want to get dirty a bit more than the Broncos tonight. The Broncos will win it if it's a fast-flowing game, but I don't think West will let them play that way.
Would you like to say good evening to all your fans up there in Queensland?
Yeah, I understand there were only 400 complaints about me last time. Let's get to 1,000 tonight.
All right. Well, he's going for Western Suburbs. I'm not staying with any upset at all. I'm staying with the Broncos. I think they should get home tonight, again with Alan Langer in charge. We'll be back with all the action of the first half. Nissan Friday night, right after this break. To the Campbelltown Sports Ground. A real grand final atmosphere out here in the west of Sydney. Some 300 kids from 9 high schools around the Campbelltown area entertaining the crowd here. And again, congratulations to Western Suburbs for really putting on an entertainment display here prior to the kick-off of the match. They're moving well.
They certainly are. We did the Pride of Erin when I was at school, or the Greek barn dance. This is fantastic.
The Pride of Erin must have been a pretty big dance floor back in those days.
The whole barn.
Yeah, again, our congratulations to Western Suburbs, put together by Greg Bowman and Sandra Henderson, who choreographed all that. Fine job from them both. Now it's up to Western Suburbs themselves at home to take on the Broncos and cause the upset and really put themselves on line for a spot in the top 5 this year. A good crowd again here at Campbelltown for this Friday night match on a real cool evening. The Magpies, who enjoyed tremendous support. They made their move out in the west to make sure they stayed alive, and they're well and truly doing that. Now the Broncos led out by Langer. You will hear the reaction for the Broncos. They've got to start to win matches away to make sure of their spot in the top 5. Alan Langer, who's had a great year, and who only last week, of course, celebrated the birth of a baby daughter. The fireworks above, there'll be plenty here in the opening moments amongst the forwards. Madison in at lock forward. They were starting to call him the interchange king. He gets a chance here against Western Suburbs. Tremendous sight. Ronnie Gibbs, important, Bill, that he's in the starting lineup.
Yes, he's one of those players that really puts fear into the opposition, and that'll be, part of Western Suburbs' plan. As the fireworks go off in the air, they'll go off on the field too.
He's one man that will explode, Gibbs. Henjack. The West skipper, Greg McCallum, the man in charge of this clash. The lights shining brightly here at Campbelltown. Our thanks to Travel Towers, who make it all possible for our Nissan Friday nighters. They were with us on the Lotto Challenge. And as Joe Thomas loosens up, tries to stay warm here on this cold evening, we stand by for the playing of the national anthem.
Gifts of beauty, rich and rare, in history's page that every stage unfolds us gay and fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, unfolds Australia fair.
It's been a big night for some of the kids here from the high schools out in the west from Campbelltown. Congratulations on a job well done to all of them. Now it's up to the seniors. McCallum checking with the skippers. The Broncos nervously playing away. The Magpies at home.
And some of the Magpies were at those very schools only a year ago. Have a look at them. Young Taylor, Ainscough, and not so long ago, Casado.
Well, they get their chance here now, Wes. Bringing it away from their 22. Tremendous winners against the Raiders here a fortnight ago that really put it to Canberra and put them in a whole heap of trouble. Gillespie, member of the countryside yesterday. Early penalty for the Magpies inside the 5, Brisbane. Caught by McCallum. Letting it be known that he wants to keep these two sides well and truly apart. Last week, Brisbane big winners over the Gold Coast. 30-4. West with that massive win over Parramatta, 47-12. Now, McCallum's had problems bringing something to the sideline. Just clearing the field of something that looked like a bit of a nut or a bolt that was on the field.
It could have even been a spanner, and that's exactly what West want to throw into the Broncos tonight, a spanner in their works. And if they stick this game of football very close to the rucks, they're capable of scoring an upset tonight. If they get it out wide or try to play the Broncos out wide, I don't think they can win the game.
Pete, they've played better than their position on the table indicates all year. Any game they've lost, it's been a narrow one.
And another one. Well, they were out there before with the entertainment, keeping down some staging material that the kids used. So obviously they haven't cleared it quite properly enough. And that really would have caused some damage to somebody tackled on some of those. West on the attack. Casado. Inside the Brisbane 2 in the early moments of this match. Taylor getting it away, upending, leading the Brisbane defence. Again he calls for it. Now the switch of play from Henjack. Henjack bringing in Cogger, driven backwards. Ran off over the top, Gilmeister down below. Back for Rampling, throws himself into the line. A lot more sting in the Brisbane defence this year. Lennon. Thomas gets it away for Taylor. Behind the line to the in goal. Khan gets back there. Covering the ball. He'll be tracked well and truly. Good play from Wes. The ball's coming back their way, but a good kick. And Khan had no option.
Good kick by young Taylor, and it's imperative that he has a good game against Langer tonight. There's Willie Khan. I think Khan is a better player than Michael Hancock, who he replaces tonight. Hancock is a true Queenslander. He's a mud crab, runs across the field too much. This fellow goes straight. 2 tries against North Sydney 2 weeks ago, and I'm amazed that he wasn't kept in the side.
They're in fine form tonight, aren't you? Hoff. Casado. West with all the possession. He ducked and nearly got through on his hands and knees. Taylor went the blind side. Henjack stays open, where he's finished off by Madison right in midfield. Rampling full of running. Getting over the advantage line well. Now Gillespie went the blind. Thomas keeps it alive up the middle for Devine, who was following him through. 10 metres away, Wes. Gillespie. Gillespie stepping. Gillespie for the line. There it is. Their forwards have got them on a big roll. Wes off to the flying start. Plenty of Magpie power. Oh, Gillespie has sent them sailing.
Well, a man they call Cement went through some plasticine defence here. He steps inside Terry Madison. He takes on the big fellow Paul Hoff and in for the try on the Nissan replay.
West didn't try to hide where they're taking Brisbane on for 4 consecutive play the balls. They belted up the centre, and then this was on the end of it. David Gillespie, the left foot step, and powered his way over.
And this is signs of the bad old days for the Brisbane side. Their forwards were like jelly here. They just opened up, the heads opened up, and Paul Hoff had to try and be the last line of defence.
The man they call Cement lays the foundations early, 27 years of age, the labourer and the kangaroo of the 90 tour. Immediately to a huddle in the in goal. West's on fire and Brisbane caught out. Jason Taylor, 9 from 10 last week and 22 from 29 so far this year. The angle for him about 15 to the side of the posts. 49 points in the Winfield Cup. Put down 2 more for this young man. The Magpies 6-0 over Brisbane. Nissan Friday Night Football. Plenty to cheer about as West start off with a real show of strength here. Brisbane with a restart. And Casado, who's had plenty of touches early on. It's been a night for the Magpies so far. Bad news for all you Brisbane fans. In the President's Cup, previously undefeated the Broncos, they went down 22-12, and then a hammering in reserve grade, 27-4. Ball being lost by West, the scrum to go down in midfield.
First mistake by West. Ron Gibbs, he's not happy with it, but he dropped the ball. McCullum on the spot, and dead set lost the ball. Madison's hands didn't touch Gibbs. Gibbs wanted the penalty, wasn't there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, I thought he might have got a bit of a helping hand along the way.
Kevin Walters out for Renoff, one of the stars for Brisbane in 91, and that really has cemented his position in the top grade at last. Plowman will play it just outside the 22. Brisbane looking to hit back. Langer. Desmond. Again, they stay in midfield. A chance either side of the ruck for the Broncos. Kerrod Walters away to Donnelly to unload. Knocked back to a West man who was in an offside position. So Brisbane, chance at goal here, or will Langer decide to stay on the attack? He's keen for the tap. He's not worried about the 2 points. McCallum's going to check the football. Not quite happy with it. They still say no to the 2 points.
I'm amazed they wouldn't take the 2 points so early in a game of football.
10 metres away, Brisbane. They want tries. Across Gilmeister. Donnelly to play at 8 metres out. Madison up the middle looking for the quick reply. 5 metres away. Langer, you can't let him run. I can't believe that Western Suburbs went to sleep like that on one of the finest players in the Winfield Cup. They just opened right up for little Alf.
Well, Alan Langer loves a gamble, and on the Nissan replay, this is the result of that gamble, not to take the two points. Here he is, pushing off a tackle by David Gillespie, the man that scored at the other end of the field a few minutes ago.
When Langer decided to take the tap, he must have known something, and he set about proving himself right here. He just had too much pace for David Gillespie and went over for a terrific reply.
You can't afford to give Alan Langer room to move. David Gillespie here gets a hand on Alan Langer, but Langer says, we're not playing touch football, I'll keep going, and accelerates right through the gap to score the try.
Alan Langer, skipper of the Broncos. And he's finding his best form, really laying down A bit of a gauntlet here for all and sundry to get back his Australian jumper this year. Terry Madison has the fine record of 15 from 18 attempts so far. He's about 9 metres in from the sideline and a strong breeze that he's kicking into.
Just about where that penalty was.
Which will give us a good line on it. He should be aiming this one to the near side post. He hooked it from the start, but the breeze took it even further. But they're back on deck. 6-4 West over Brisbane. Nissan Friday night. They came out firing. You were talking about the upset, Pete.
Yeah, certainly, but Brisbane, they scored that try too easily. That was a simple try for Langer, and West, if they open up like that, they'll get carved up by the Broncos, and the Broncos obviously confident from the fact they took that tap that they can take on the Magpies' defence. And
Western Suburbs have got a very strong breeze at their backs in this first half. They'll need to go into the half-time break with some sort of a lead.
They're under some pressure here as they've coughed the ball up, and it was a mistake from West at the other end that led to a try. Langer was questioning the decision there from McCallum. But it's West with the feed to put them on the attack again. Scrum screwing, still comes out for Taylor. Henjack taking on Walters. Inside the 22. Gibbs. The West forwards really hammering this defensive line. Taylor. Switch of play from West. Henjack to Cogger. The defence made sure that it kept its line either side of the ruck. Thomas looking for support. Strong defence going in on Rampling. Quick play the ball's out from West. Taylor getting it out to Gillespie. That was forward surely to Gibbs. I thought the ball to Gibbs was well and truly forward. Luckily the Broncos end up with it.
Here's the pass from Gillespie to Gibbs, and he was in front of the player. The referee let it go, and then the Brisbane Broncos in possession. Paul Hoff up to the quarter for the Broncos.
So West, 2 men backing up from yesterday's match, the first of the rep games, Thomas and Gillespie. I guess you're talking about a coach who's backing up. You've been involved with rep sides. Billy, how does that affect the coach of a club side, Warren Ryan?
You've got a lot on your plate, but the times have changed, Graham. Coaches today are full-time, and so they do it a little bit more easily. But under normal conditions, you know, 1 game a week's plenty to think about, and 2 might be just too much. But Warren Ryan, a very experienced coach, he will cope with it if anyone will.
But it's even tougher this week for Warren Ryan because of the fact that the countryside went into camp for 3 days. He was away from the Western Suburbs training sessions for 3 whole days.
Well, this starts to help Wayne here. Some penalties for West. Wouldn't let Graham Wynn get up and play it. They're a long way out, but West might even think about a goal here. They do. Taylor just nodding approval there as we look at Bobby Ledner with these little boys sitting out amongst the crowd. Disappointment for him after breaking that leg and missing out on State of Origin football. It raises a few questions for the Queenslanders. Kevin Walters.
It certainly does. I don't think there's any doubt that if Wally Lewis can get through tomorrow night's game against North Sydney for the Gold Coast, that both Lewis and Kevin Walters will be in the Queensland side. One of them will be locked forward.
Who will it be?
I think probably Lewis. I think maybe they can switch. Graham Lowe, very astute judge, and he'll use both of them.
100% for Taylor. Good strong breeze at his back. 48 metres out. He is just about in front. Hits it strongly. Right down the middle. Great goal from young Taylor.
He looks like a pull through for a rifle. That went over the dead ball line on the full.
8-4 the Magpies over the Broncos. Plenty of power from Taylor.
And that means he's kicked 19 goals from the last 22 shots he's attempted. 19 from 22. Not a bad effort.
You'd like to own him, this young man. Hoff never moved. He knew it was straight over the black dot. West. 13 metres out from their own line, but with this breeze. Casado always looking for the ball coming off the wing.
And hasn't he improved? He was a winger or a centre with Parramatta that really didn't get involved. But since he's been at West the last year or two, he's certainly improved his game. Tony Casado.
Win up the middle.
And so's he.
Now, Tasman's going to be called out for a late tackle. Came over the top once Wynn had already hit the deck. A warning from McCallum. So Brisbane just aren't spending enough time down this end. Wests aren't even being forced to go back for the kick. There was the swinging arm.
No doubt about it. The penalty was warranted. He was well tackled on the ground, tackled by Kerrod Walters, and Brisbane allowing Western Suburbs to gain great distance with the wind, and Taylor's a master kicker.
Well, here's Casado.
The last couple of times West have been down here, they've been switching the play back down the short side. Brisbane have covered it so far.
Straight up the middle this time from Western Suburbs, Ainscoe. Gibbs. They're keen to take on the Brisbane forwards. Taylor. Taylor cutting out men using dummy runners. Graham Wynn only 2 metres away. Good play, good set passage from the Magpies. Devine up a dummy half. He's 1 metre away, and they're down to their final tackle. Thomas knocked down by Langer. They were headed for a try. If the ball hadn't have been knocked down, it was a West try. Don't worry about that.
Langer read this well. He knew he had to get off the try line quickly, stuck the arm out. He took a risk because if he missed it, they were under the post, the Magpies.
Taylor would have gone in without a hand being laid on him. Devine. Stretched to the limit, the Broncos. They've got to hang on here. Ainscoe. West. Well, it's 6 more. Kerrod Walters it was who got his hand to it. And still 6 to go. Comes back for the Broncos.
Well, I think the referee heard there. He played the advantage. That should have then been a penalty, and the Brisbane player to the sin bin.
You can't get out of the blocks that quick, can you?
You certainly can't. He was offside. He was quite prepared to give the penalty away, and now the penalty goes to the Broncos.
Well, they had to hurry, though, but it's good defence to hang on here from Brisbane. They were under a mile of pressure.
Yeah,
They were,
they
but
scrambled well.
They did scramble well, but there's no doubt about it. Walters took the odds to the penalty, and it wasn't given because the referee played the advantage, and then they lost possession of the football.
Gilmister bouncing off one, then straight into the arms of Gillespie, who backslams him. Tasman. Still about 5 metres short of his own halfway line. Back for Langer. Quickly to Kevin Walters. They force him back up the middle. Tasman stands. Nowhere to go for him. They virtually haven't moved since they've taken the tap. Just to the halfway line now. And they've lost it. Another Magpie. Another wounded Magpie looking on Andrew Farah. Win taken. Well, Johnny Croucher. Plenty of excitement and atmosphere so far. We'll come back to you in a minute. Kerrod Walters is being called out. And frustration's creeping into the game. He's been sent up.
And he can't believe it.
Well, there it was. Kerrod Walters let go the elbow over the top. He will not be back. Brisbane down to 12. Sensation here at Campbelltown. Kerrod Walters up the tunnel for an early shower. And Taylor will have a shot from where he just kicked the other long-range goal.
Well, McCallum standing almost over that incident and had no hesitation in sending him straight from the field. Kerrod Walters was dumbfounded. That's a shock. Kerrod Walters a tough player, but not a dirty player.
Well, Wynn was well and truly tackled. He looked to resent the tackle, and then whoosh from Kerrod Walters. McCallum was in good position, that's all I could say.
And any of you people at home that dabble a little bit with the goal kicks and like to have a bet, whatever you do, don't bet against this kid.
Again, it's the 48-metre area. And again, it's in front. Western Suburbs getting on a roll. And this is the man who's setting them along that path. He's done it again. The Magpies with a solid lead now with that breeze at their backs, 10-4. Over Brisbane. Mark Hone has raced out there into the forward pack for Brisbane. I was just about to say before Johnny Croucher about the atmosphere here. Now plenty of sensations. What about footy tap?
Yes, Graham, the pick to score dividend pool tonight's $53,000, which is a Friday night record. Brisbane are slightly favoured by the punters, 55% for them, 40% for West, 5% on the draw. And for some reason, a lot of support for the Magpies to kick a field goal. The footy tap computer, West 8 to 12, Brisbane 18 to 22.
Thanks, John. A lot of support for them now that they're off to such a fine start and Brisbane down to 12 men.
Yeah, and they're right up against it, but often this brings out the best in champion teams, and the Broncos have got plenty of class players, and they'll probably show their worth tonight. This is a tough situation they're in now without their dummy half and one of their star forwards in Kerrod Walters, the former test hooker.
Pete, if you can remember a couple of years ago at Brookvale, Wally Lewis was sent off and they came from behind and showed a lot of character in that match. You know, that's something they really have got oodles of, Brisbane.
Yeah, they're not lacking character, but this is going to be a tough one for them to get out of now.
Plowman bringing it away as our rugby league-a-thon continues. 4 days of it coming your way. Tomorrow night, the Gold Coast taking on Norths. Queensland viewers will see that at 8:30, that match in full. And all other viewers, of course, will see highlights from around 10:50 p.m. That will be followed by the big one, live from Wembley Stadium, the English Challenge Cup final. Wigan versus St Helens. Can Wigan make it 3 in a row? Donnelly. Renoff getting away from Ainscough. Plenty of cover coming across, though, from West. Rampling gets over there, so does Graham Wynn. One more tackle for Brisbane to get out of their own half. Langer with the kick. He got away from Gibbs, and he puts the kick in over the head of Burns. He gets the favourable bounce to the sideline as well. It's a good play from Langer in keeping his cool. And this scrum to pack just outside the 22. Brisbane was second in the club championship going into this round to be 7 points behind Norths. As we showed you before, they were undefeated in President's Cup. The 2 big losses for them in that and reserve grade tonight.
Trevor Gilmeister will fill as stopgap hooker. He went into the last scrum in that position.
I thought the halves were hookers these days.
Well, maybe they are, but he put his arms up anyway.
Gillespie. Thomas back for Gillespie into a hole too. Put down by Ainscough. Brisbane the ball, and they haven't had it too many times down here. Tessman trying to settle play down, take it up the middle, and then go to their back line, try and create some space for them. Gilmeister gets it just outside the 22. Better play from Brisbane. Langer. Kevin Walters. Renoff into the gap. Back for Kevin Walters, who put it down.
Andrew Tessman down in back play, and he doesn't look good at the moment. The big front row forward who has battled hard, courageously, to even get back into rugby league after being hit by, of all things, a stretched limo in a Brisbane street.
And it does look as if it's that knee again.
It certainly does, and that would be a terrible blow.
Trying to find his way back into the line, Tessman. For a moment, they were down to 11. Still struggling. Now, that knee just going under the weight there of Thomas. The kick going in, turning Brisbane around. Hoff trying to link up with Khan, but he couldn't. Tessman goes to the sideline looking for a replacement. Going back out there is Andrew G, who had already been on an interchange with Mark Hone. Now Hone with his first touch of the ball, 30 metres out from his line. G straight into it. They really do need some work from their forwards here in the difficult first half for them.
It would have been a lot easier 2 weeks ago with full interchange.
That's something the teams have got to get used to. Johns gets into the gap. Kevin Walters looking for some support. He's going to get it from Langer. Langer travelling well and truly downfield, way out to Renoff. Renoff's got support on the outside, now inside for Plowman. Plowman back out to Renoff. Brilliant play. What a try. Oh, they bomb it. The final pass. It would have been the try of the year so far. That was sensational rugby league. Absolutely superb from Langer. Just watch the width of this pass as he tries to keep it alive. Way out to Renoff. And Renoff and Plowman linking with each other. Back on the inside firstly, then out again. Renoff standing, looking for support, getting it over the shoulder of Plowman. A try goes begging.
The big problem there was Plowman couldn't keep up with Renoff. One's a Ferrari and the other one's a Mack truck.
Well, that would have been a pressure call at the finish as well. It looked as though it might have been
forward pass. But it was still great football by Brisbane. Marvellous backing up. And that pass from Langer, a super one.
10-4, West over Brisbane. Keep reminding you, Brisbane down to 12.
And even with 12 men, they're still a very dangerous football side.
Gillespie will wait for confirmation of the charge, whether it's an elbow or a forearm, against Kerrod Walters. Showing you the strength of that breeze. Taylor's kick over the head of Plowman. This man would rather run over the top of you than around you. He drags 3 defenders out near the 32-metre line. Paul Langmack taking messages sidelined amongst the West camp.
There's a discount from Telecom until midnight tonight.
Prime time, or is it off-peak?
Special for Anzac Day and the following day, so he's making full use of it. And he can talk.
Donnelly. One-hander back to Carr. Brisbane starting to put some of these passes together. Langer. Kevin Walters. Running behind Johns. No Shepherd, said McCallum. Last tackle for the Broncos now. Langer. Knocked on by Devine. Back for Burns. A couple of mistakes from West. And all of a sudden, they're letting the Broncos back in here.
Yeah, a couple of their young players, Sean Devine there, disgusted with himself. And there's the knock-on. And luckily for him, it got knocked back to Burns. But both the fullback, Devine, and the centre three-quarter Ainscough showing their inexperience in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, just following up on that inexperience, Pete, it's important that these young players with a 10-4 lead, opposition down a man, don't get complacent.
Well, Johns and also Renoff are going to be a big worry, and also the fact that referees tend to give penalties to the side that's one man short. It's a fact of footballing life.
Now, Ainscough with a swinging arm over the top. He clocks Johns, bang. So the penalty for Brisbane. Madison. Donnelly. Brisbane 12 metres away. Hone. Hammered in the tackle. Now there was no need for the second push, says McCallum. And another penalty. This time they will have to go for goal right next to the post. So it was a tremendous hit on Hone. But as he was trying to get to his feet, it was Jackson who was penalised for not allowing to play it cleanly.
Yeah, well, that lack of discipline could pay, well, West will pay dearly for it, because this Broncos side can really attack. Great tackle by Jackson, but undid all his good work.
Madison unsuccessful with his first, this time right next to the woodwork. Metres out. Any confirmation on either Testament or Kerrod Walters, Wayne?
Well, Testament has just jarred his knee, according to the doctor. And Kerrod Walters, the charge from the doctor apparently is the use of the elbow, forearm, and also the knee.
Geez, that's some charge.
The trifecta.
Won't pay.
It might pay a lot.
Right in front for Madison. Well, Brisbane, you would have to be happy if they land this. Playing into this strong breeze with only 12. He gets an important goal for Brisbane right here. Western Suburbs with that lead, though, on Nissan Friday Night Football. 10-6 over Brisbane. Donnelly with a good surge. Gets them away from the 22. Langer. He's going to go to his back line here. Johns. Johns gets clear. Good stepping from Chris Johns, who missed the City Country match with injury.
And every time Johns and Renoff get a little bit of room to move, good service from inside, they're looking very dangerous.
A ball hung up in the breeze a long time, allowed the Brisbane defence to get down there. Burns taking a leaf out of the Casado book. Here he is again, Casado. He's just about touched the ball more than the halves and 5/8.
And that's great work from the Manly backs to let these forwards have a bit of a breather and then come steaming onto the ball in an attacking situation, such as now.
Michael O'Connor's having a big one, Junior.
Now Devine, here's a chance. Inside for Jackson, stumbling as he took the pass. He just couldn't keep his balance. West, try time. Henjack, overlap. Henjack just short. Double movement. He got tempted, Ivan Henjak. Desperate defence from Brisbane. Inches short. It shows on his face.
Yeah, Ivan Henjak here took the option to not passing the ball. They did have extras on the outside near the sideline. Tried to do it on his own and couldn't get there.
I don't think there's any doubt the referee made the right decision. There was a deliberate second movement, and that's a try gone begging right before half-time, and Western Suburbs running into the wind in the second half could ill afford that.
Pete, speaking of Manly, if that was Manly, he mightn't have said that.
Now Madison. But again, and there has been plenty of good scrambling from Brisbane to stay alive, because that try might have been the one that could well and truly put them out of it.
Well, pace doesn't only score your tries, it also allows you to tidy up in defence.
They got there in good numbers. Tessman back out there into the 22.
West had two chances there. Big Jackson stumbled when he maybe could have made it too, and who will ever forget that magnificent try to win a grand final by the big fellow against Balmain 2 seasons ago. Wayne Pearce won't forget it.
Thanks, Peter.
He ran through about 4 defenders on that occasion.
He ran through Junior 3 times.
He's up.
Now back for Burns. Still time for West to lay one on here before the break. Thomas. He heard a call, but nobody wanted to run onto it. Rampling picked it up at his feet. Very bunched, the Magpies. No backline whatsoever. They're all sweating on going up the middle.
And Tessman back for Brisbane. He'll help out.
Lynn. Taylor. Quick hands from Devine and from Thomas and Rampling. Jackson turns his back. Well controlled from Ainscoe. Burns. Langer's there. Burns to the corner. And again, it's great cover defence. There was 4 and 5 from Brisbane getting there. Good play from Western, great defence from Brisbane.
Yeah, great defence from Alan Langer. This is good stuff from Western Suburbs. Hot potato stuff. Here's Burns with a goose step. 3 tries last week and a magnificent tackle. Round the legs was Alfie Langer. Inspiring stuff from the Brisbane skipper.
Important play for the Broncos to hold out till half-time. No more points they want laid on from West. Bit of a scuffle you just saw there in the scrum. Johns. Head on was Gillespie. Tessman. Tessman in midfield, and he's showing a keenness to get back into the work after jarring that knee.
West will be a frustrated side in the dressing room at half-time. They should have had another try or two.
They should have escaped by a lot more at the moment. It's now only 10-6, and Brisbane will have the breeze at their back in the second half. Intercept from Wynn. Just what they didn't want, Brisbane, and they go back to the defensive line. Fumble a dummy half from Taylor. He was about to pass to Rampling. Finished off nice and truly by Gilmeister. Thomas. Thomas for Gillespie. They've both been linking throughout this first half. Ainscoe puts down a simple one.
He's having a shocker, Ainscoe, tonight, and he's dropped about 3 balls. He's missed tackles, and
now he's penalised.
Yeah, now he's penalised. Really, when a player's off his game like that young fellow is at the moment, he's probably better off on the sideline.
Touch judge out there reporting another change in the Brisbane side. Donnelly going back to the bench. And Tony Curry is out amongst the Broncos. Interesting to see the changes in the lineup there, with Curry replacing the forward.
West are surprising themselves with the number of breaks they're making, and they're muffing it. They're just not finishing off. But you've got to give a lot of credit here to Brisbane. They are hanging on and hanging on well in defence. This is gutsy stuff.
Tessman. 33 tackles in the opposition half for the Magpies, just 12 Brisbane, and they've only got 12 men. Ball goes down.
Well, they can't afford to do that too often.
There's more work coming their way now.
Trevor Gilmeister started the season off well, but in the last few weeks his form slipped a little bit, and here he is knocking on just when they could ill afford to the Brisbane Broncos. Amazing to see Tessman back out there for the Broncos.
Real show of character and strength from him now. Devine staying up in this front line as they search for this try before half-time. The last 5 minutes ahead of us as Rampling is brought down 30 metres out. Jackson just wearing away at this line with their front rowers and back rowers. Taylor. Liddon wide. On the run around is Taylor. Ainscough stops, restarts. Caught from behind by Johns. Taylor giving it away to Graham Wynn. Gets a one-hander back. Picked up nicely by Liddon. And Liddon is hammered on the 22 by Teshman.
I wouldn't be surprised if West have a go at field goal just before half-time.
Right on cue. He didn't meet it as well as he would have liked. It was an awful looking field goal, but it's got the point. He heard you. Set himself nicely and didn't quite get it the way a normal drop kick goes over. But it doesn't matter when you get the 1 point that you're after. He gets it to 11-6 now for West. Terry Hill, the man in that controversial draft issue who ended up at Eastern Suburbs, still out in the West tonight watching the Magpies go round. Willie Kahn in midfield with this restart. West to their 22. You'd have to be happy with that scoreline if you're Wayne Bennett. Wayne, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, with this breeze, although it has dropped off a little, it is a very strong breeze. And with 12 men, it's been a tremendous defensive effort in the first half. I wasn't surprised by the number of tackles they had to make in their own half, but I was certainly surprised by the number of tries they prevented Western Suburbs from scoring.
Win. Very keen to work away at the middle. The Western Suburbs forwards. This time they go back for an early kick from Taylor, but he puts it straight down to the waiting arms of Hoff. Taken by Ainscough and Burns.
Graham, a couple of times tonight, Western Suburbs have looked almost in umbrella-like style in attack. They're not flanking. They're not getting out wide. They're quite prepared. And Warren Ryan coach sides have got a good record against the Broncos since they've been in the big time.
By powering the ball up the centre, and Broncos situations compounded by the fact they're down a forward. So basically they can only either play one marker or play Langer in the defensive line, and he's not big enough for that.
Well, the six-man interchange is vital tonight to Brisbane, isn't it? Timing of it.
They wish it was a 50-man interchange tonight.
Madison for Hone. The last couple of minutes of the first half and only one tackle left for Brisbane here. Langer. Little step up the middle, the chip. Devine reads it nicely on the burst, but he's taken by the man who put the kick through. Thomas quickly for Burns. Burns getting out of two tackles. Curry and Kevin Walters were the men that fell off the tackles. Wynn stops as he came to the line, looked for support. Taylor for Gillespie, very much involved tonight. The West coach Warren Ryan, walkie-talkie, is working overtime in the dying seconds of this first 40. Last tackle for West now. Henjack heard the call inside from Devine, put the kick in. Crowd calling for an illegal tackle on Hone. Hoff trying to get out of the in goal. He does that. No touch, judge. No call from McCallum. Thought the tackle was well and truly committed by Hone. Now Kahn gets it 10 metres out. This was the kick coming in from Devine. Hone was the man who I thought was committed. Pretty much a line ball.
It was. Devine lay there and look for the penalty, and the touch judges and the referee will wake up to the young fellow's doggo act.
Yeah, it was real Hollywood stuff.
It certainly was.
Gilmester. Time almost up. Langer stepping away from Thomas and trying to kick away from Devine. He's taking his time. Everybody wants a rest here. I think they all know half time.
You better hurry up. Here comes Langer.
Langer grasses him. Slowly to his feet, allowing his forwards time to get back. Casado running away from tacklers. Burns.
Warren Ryan's got both his wingers doing a lot of work. They're good, strong runners, and they don't mind getting in there, stepping and going up the centre.
It's been noticeable every time they've joined in that they've picked up the pace of the game up the middle. Taylor calling out to McCallum that he thought the ball might have been touched.
Yeah, he certainly was. He's had a good game, young fellow, Taylor. He was dropped to reserve grade a couple of weeks ago, and he's fought back very well and played strongly.
There's the siren now. Some tired Broncos will enjoy the break here. They're down to 12 men with Kerrod Walters sent off. Western Suburbs have the lead, though, here on Nissan Friday Night Football. 11-6 at the Campbelltown Sports Ground. Western Suburbs have their noses in front, as Wayne showed you. Brisbane forced to make 100 tackles down to 12 men. Madison and G with 16 apiece. West 90. Thomas with 15. Rampling with 11. Kerrod Walters, who we assume will face that charge of using a forearm, possibly an elbow, in a tackle on Graham Wynn. He will face the judiciary. McCallum, the man that marched him in that first half. 40 minutes left now for Western Brisbane. But the Broncos, importantly, with this strong breeze at their backs, should be a big advantage, Bill.
Under normal circumstances, it would be. You could kick with the wind and get field position, but you've got to remember here that each time they kick the ball, they're giving the possession back to Western Suburbs, who are playing 13 men on 12, so it's not as big a help as it would normally be.
State of origin side chosen on Sunday night, and what are the odds that if Kerrod Walters is suspended, that his brother Steve gets his big chance in representative football?
Well, he must have been close to kangaroo selection towards the end of last year.
Certainly.
Not the way a brother would like to hurdle the one who had the jumper in front of him. Hoff, 38 out from his own line, last tackle for Brisbane. Langer. Can he get them home tonight, the Broncos? He was in great touch in the first half. Devine showing Burns where he wanted him on his outside to use him. Devine with a good step. Back infield for Ainscough to get it 32 away from his own line, and West bunched again as they rely on their forwards. Very much bunched and no backline, as you can see. Gillespie, but their forwards have taken over and nearly got it out towards halfway. Jackson, easy pass from Thomas and a simple fumble that will give the ball to Brisbane. Disappointment shows. The pass was straight to the stomach. He couldn't handle it, Jackson. Langer to Kevin Walters. Run around with Johns. The defence was up extra quick. Puff. Trying to get the ball out to Tony Curry. Plowman. Plowman over halfway.
You've got to hand it to Brisbane, haven't you? No matter what the circumstances, they play their natural game. They try to keep the ball alive. They're a very entertaining football team.
And far from finish in this match. Khan.
No doubt about that.
Madison. Gilmeister. The defence was good from Gillespie. Forced the pass back for Langer. Langer was demolished in that tackle by Rampling and also Thomas. Madison. Kevin Walters threw that ball forward. Very close to a penalty as well, I would think. Now, did Hone overrun him? And was he in an offside position while it was touch and go?
You don't often see Kevin Walters throw a hospital pass like that and a pass that they could ill afford. First try scorer in this second half is really going to get the ascendancy in this game. Brisbane can't afford to let the Magpies get any further away than they are now. Converted try puts Brisbane in front, but Western Suburbs will have a terrific lead if they can cross.
The two number 6s come together. Henjack finishes on the 32. Ainscough. 6-5 the scrums to West. Wynn stepping out of one tackle. Thomas. Good ball to put Litton to the outside of his man. Gillespie's there. Devine's inside. Gillespie's got it. That was a line ball. The pass as well. Gillespie quickly to his feet. Brisbane scrambling once more. Burns to the corner. And again it's the cover defence that arrives on time. Last tackle. Taylor. Taylor along the deck into the in goal. Tessman covering it up. And Brisbane survive another raid.
And that big break that was made by Gillespie highlighted the problem that Brisbane could have. Langer in the defensive line and the big Western Suburbs forwards running at him.
Madison to Plowman. Plowman with a good gain to ease a little bit of the pressure.
Once again, Western Suburbs have had a try-scoring opportunity and failed to come up with the 4 points. You're not going to get that many chances against the Broncos before they strike back.
How many tackles are they going to use up as well before they put a kick in? Madison trapped with it. They've waited till the last. Now pressure from the dummy halves is there, the markers. Langer back by himself, getting the kick in. Straight to Devine, who lost it and went back. And he'll finish up on his own 40-metre line.
That's the problem Brisbane have got, that Langer is not a long kicker of the football where Taylor is. And in the first half, he was gaining 60 metres. Langer is lucky to find 40.
Casado putting on a real exhibition here at Campbelltown. Crowd loved it. Red face and all, he goes back to the wing. Win. Getting down to the serious things now as Taylor spinning it out wide for Liddon. Good tackle from Gilmeister. Ball and all, he couldn't unload. Taylor away from Hoff to the in goal. It might stay in play. No, it won't. Back to the 22. So nearly weighted correctly from Taylor. But Brisbane will take their time in restarting here as they work it away from the 22.
Yeah, Graham, I don't think you'll
We'll go
see
down to the sideline, Billy, with Wayne Pearce talking to one of the legends of the game of rugby league, a great broadcaster and a great player, Frank Hyde.
Yes, Frank, I suppose it's been a fair while since you've been in this close to a game on the sideline.
That's right, yes. When you consider the 25, 26 years I was right on the sideline, you know, in those days I regretted being put up into a broadcast box, but I can see the benefits of it now. Being down here, it's freezing, isn't it?
It's very cold down here on the sideline. The players, I'm sure, are pretty warm. They're doing plenty of running around out there, but how do you think the game has changed since you played the game and since you called it on the sideline?
Well, it hasn't changed that much, only that there is much more running and the defence is so much more organised. Wayne, you know, it's amazing that it can't get much faster and it can't get much harder. You know, where do we go from here?
Oh, well, where do Brisbane go from here? They're down to 12 men. Who do you think will win this match?
Well, I still favour Brisbane. I think that Brisbane will be there at the end of the competition too, and not only tonight. They're a great side, and they haven't fulfilled their potential at this stage of the competition. But with West leading 11-6, you've got to give them credit, because there's no doubt about it. The Western Suburbs side here tonight and this year is so vastly different to what we've seen of them the last few years. Their tackling and organisation is there where it hasn't been before, and they've got a drive there now which has been missing for years. But still and all, they'll need all of it to beat Brisbane tonight, I reckon.
Thanks for chatting to us, Frank, and let you get back to seat.
Nice to see. Thanks.
Yeah, nice to see Frank Hyde too. If it's long enough and high enough, if it's straight, it'll be there. That was Frank Hyde for so many years on 2SM. He was a great act. Great
man for the game, and certainly the doyen of rugby league callers.
Nice to have the gentleman, and I mean gentleman, on air tonight with us.
the man who started it all.
Carry on his 22. Brisbane trying to turn this 5-point lead for West around. Going wide inside their own 22 line.
That's what they do best, and I don't think you'll see them kick too early in the tackle count, even when they're down this end of the field. They can't afford to keep giving West back the ball.
Testman still pumping out some work after copping that injury in the first half to his knee. Langer not mucking around this time with the kick over Devine. Langer's leading the way too with the charge to chase his own kick. He needs some support here. He was the deepest when he kicked, and he's the first one down there. Devine beats him. But Plowman is on the inside to pick him off.
His teammates let him down badly then. He actually had to yell out and say, come on, give me some help here.
I think there is some tired forwards to their defence, though. Now Burns with a quick play of the ball and a quick roll on, but finished off. Good tackle from Hone. Taylor to Gibbs. Not a good ball. Gibbs was just about being met and hit solidly by Gilmeister. Taylor gets his kick in. The ball was bouncing away from him. Now Hoff with a chase to the sideline. Casado's there.
The tactics of Western Suburbs are very obvious. They're going to lock this Brisbane side up inside their quarter, and they're quite willing to run the ball back, kick it back, and play them at their end of the field. The only problem with that is Brisbane have got 4 or 5 players that can run 40 and 50 metres to score.
Rampling was getting stretched on the sideline to get back into the action. Still stretching a hamstring. Toff takes this kick. West must be still thinking, though, that the Magpies have never beaten Brisbane in the Winfield Cup.
No, they had a draw with them here and haven't beaten them, but 12 all they had a draw with them, but they really should, and they'll be ruining those missed tries in the first half.
That 12-all draw was the opening round last year. Tessman. Hone. Still short of halfway, Brisbane. Switching play to the blind with Langer. Looking for Madison. Dummying his way through Langer. Great run. Taken low by Liddon. Gilmeister. Kevin Walters. Kevin Walters hasn't had too many opportunities, but he has come up with a couple of frustrating errors. Gilmeister. Inside goes Hone. One more tackle. Langer. Putting up a midfield bomb. A test for Devine. He fumbles it. Luckily it went back. And luckily also for him, Ronnie Gibbs was back there too.
Certainly was. It was lucky that Gibbs was back there. He's been very shaky tonight under the high kicks as Sean Devine. And on this occasion, with the kick coming through from Langer, he leaves the ground too early. That's his problem. Luckily, Gibbs was back there. Who would have believed, less than a year after Wally Lewis left the Broncos, that they would rely on one player as much as they relied on him? And they rely on Alan Langer almost as much as they did on the King himself.
He doesn't let anybody down either, does he?
He certainly doesn't.
And he's no guarantee of being there next year.
He'll be there. If they don't come up with the money, then they'll sack the committee or the owners.
Thomas. Casado. Western Suburbs. They're probably looking for an early try in the second half to make sure of this lead, but it's Brisbane who's come out determined. They've been the better of play so far, Gillespie. Gillespie trying to work on those hard meters up the middle. Taylor with a short ball. Knocked forward and fumbled again by Wynn.
You called Taylor giving a hospital pass to Gibbs a few moments ago, and he really is intent on passing the ball in impossible situations. Several in the second half already.
Maybe they're just guilty of trying too hard, trying to push this pass to find this try. That might be the key to finish off Brisbane.
They know there are holes there. Brisbane a man down, but they're just pushing that little bit extra to try and find them.
Kevin Walters. Langer. Langer taken by his opposite.
You've got to give it to Brisbane. It looks like an almost even contest at the moment. There doesn't look to be any difference between the two sides. And it's 13 against 12, and it has been for a long time in this game.
From the dummy half position, a run for Madison. Brisbane laying on the attack. And a converted try that could give them the lead. Langer took his eyes off it. He had a quick look at the defence. And a fumble here to force a scrum. 11-6, West over Brisbane. Especially Langer. Just they've given him some latitude. Showing the ball, and the defence seems mesmerised. Now Plowman up the middle. 11 metres away from the West line. If they needed waking up, it's here. Langer. This time they don't fall for the dummy. Wynn stayed on him, and it's 9 metres away and right in front of the posts. Madison. Back to Gilmeister. Gilmeister to Donnelly. Donnelly 6 metres out. He was standing looking for a runner. Back to Langer. Kevin Walters. The back line to Johns. Renoff switching direction. Taken well by Casado. He had Hoff outside him. Last tackle. Langer. Langer to the in goal. Chasing his Khan. West have got to do something with it. Pushed over the in goal by Stephen Burns. Brisbane will get more possession. And West feeling the pressure like Brisbane in the first half.
Yeah, here it is on the Nissan replay, and good pressure by Alan Langer. A well-weighted kick. West would have loved it to go on over the dead ball line, but Burns had to knock it dead. Good pressure by the Broncos, who are gaining in momentum. West look as though, even though they've got an extra man, that they're the team that may fall in the hole.
They've been hanging back and standing back in defence against Langer, Wayne.
Yes, they have. They've given him far too much room to move. They're not moving up in the forwards as they have in the past couple of weeks, at least their past 2 wins. They're still moving up out in the centres, but they can't afford to give Langer room to move.
Well, they do it right here. And they forced the fumble from Brisbane.
Yeah, and it was Thomas, the experienced player, that fell on it like it was a giant gold nugget.
Ainscough running away from his support. Casado should give him a forwards play tonight.
Funny game of football. Since Walters got sent off, West have hardly received a penalty.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying that referees, I don't know why they do it, but for some reason they forget about one side when a player gets sent off.
Plowman down the touch in front of the main grandstand. Gibbs across in cover defence. Off. Another tackle from Gibbs. 116 tackles overall. The Magpies have had it 106 for Brisbane. Kevin Walters to Johns. Johns out, linking with Khan. Burns has got him. Difference in those stats in the opposition half is that West have had it 2-1, 52-25.
I think you'll find that'll change a lot in this second half, because with the assistance of this breeze, you can just see how Brisbane are able to maintain a lot more pressure, and it'll really test this Western Suburbs defence.
Still needing the try though, Brisbane. Johns, last tackle. Langer waiting out wide. Little kick for himself. Great play from Langer. He's got support. Saw them too late. Tasman. It should be a try out wide. Plowman. Cover defence coming too late. Alan Langer superb, but I worried about a pass that might have been delivered. I thought there could have been a forward pass to Tasman. Plowman's got the try that could count.
A blatant forward pass here, and it should show up clearly on this angle. Brilliant stuff on the Nissan replay by Alan Langer, and the pass from Langer there to the big fellow in Tasman. Well, I thought it was a forward pass. Didn't look all that forward there on the Nissan replay. And Plowman over for the try.
Langer mixed it up here. He's been kicking long, he's been putting up bombers, but here he took the other option. He just popped the ball in behind the defensive line. Taylor missed him. He kept the ball alive there. That was magic play. Got the ball back onto Gilmeister. He threw the long ball over the top to Plowman. When he gets the ball that close to the line, no stopping him.
And how many times have we seen Alan Langer do this in the past? He just seems to be able to get the bounce, which he does here. Offloads to Tesserman. Now, Tesserman, by all rights, shouldn't be on there on the paddock with that crook knee, but he's out there. Gilmeister probably could have scored himself if he threw the dummy, but he did the unselfish thing, offloaded to Plowman, and when you've got 16.5 towards the try line, it's a definite try.
One of the biggest Broncos of all, just 21 years of age, Plowman, enjoying life out on the wing. Madison, 1 from 2. Right out on touch. That breeze at his right shoulder. Against the darkened sky, this will give us a good angle. A good judgment of this breeze. It's died on him, and he's tried it. It started out too wide. West have the lead still, but just 11-10 over Brisbane. A real thriller here at Campbelltown, West over Brisbane. The Broncos showing a ton of courage with just 12 men. Reminder about Big League on sale at all grounds this weekend and at all news agencies. Good story from Maxi Quillich, who reminds everybody about the form of Cliffy Lyons and the Kangaroo Tour of 90. And he says it's Lyons for the Australian jumper this year and no one else.
Yeah, it's going to be a very contentious issue. Of course, it'll be out of Lyons. Wally Lewis, if he does come back. And also, who can forget Kevin Walters, who hasn't played as well as he can tonight, but these final few moments will, in this game, will certainly give him a chance.
Stolen ball from Thomas, and a stolen chance. Henjack to Casado. Plowman covering infield. Renoff is there.
Plowman's injured. I thought he was when he scored, and he's down, injured now.
Now it's 11 men from Brisbane to keep this line. Taylor throwing a dummy, bouncing back into the arms of Langer. Plowman's knee has gone on him. He's trying to get back into the line. Gillespie taking over up the middle. 6 metres out the Magpies. The crowd chanting for them, calling for a try. Thomas looking for a short ball to Lidden. Standing. He can't unload in front of the posts. Dimmick. And a run around with Taylor, who switches to Henjack to win. Win was Reece Webb. Now Casado will beat the injured Plowman and improve his position to score the vital try. Casado got it. Plowman was always struggling, but it was a good switch from West. And they hear the call from the Broncos, the test from Brisbane. They come back with a try.
Yeah, the Nissan replay. Taylor switches it. They've switched it all night to Henjack. A beautiful quick pass out now to Reece Webb and then on to Tony Casado. And Casado gets up here, conscious that he can improve it.
When you're going to play 2-on-1 on an injured player, you're a pretty good chance of coming up with a try, and that's what happened here. West switched the play. Plowman was in no man's land. He didn't know who to take. The ball went to Casado. The injured Plowman was never going to get to him.
Casado tried to improve it.
Well, plenty of sides try this play on Brisbane because they feel that the Brisbane defence doesn't move up on both sides of the ruck. It certainly worked here, but it took good hands to work. And as we can see, an injured Brett Plowman there failed to make the tackle on Tony Casado.
He was trying to con McCallum there that he could pinch another 5 or 6 metres, but he'd already touched down. Steady worker for this West outfit, though.
Yeah, he certainly is. That's good play by West to hit back so quickly when the Broncos had a chance to snatch the lead.
100% from Taylor into a difficult breeze. This would be nothing short of sensational, this kick.
Could be the game if he kicks it.
Coming round. I said sensational. A freakish goal. Difficult angle and all. He's brought the house down. 17 to...
From the author of The Godfather.
Looking for possession. Possession that could bring a try. They've also still got to think about the kick and the breeze at their back. Madison does it now. Keeps it low away from Devine and behind Burns. Stepping inside Kevin Walters. Good cover from Johns. Not tackled, said McCallum. Back out near halfway. So the kick's not important for Brisbane at all. In 2 tackles, they're back to about where Madison was when he kicked it.
It's important for Brisbane here. They forced an error. Western Suburbs have got on that roll.
Yeah, West have gone back to taking the ball just 1 and 2 wide of the rucks. They're quite happy to tough it out. I said before the game they would want to get dirty more than Brisbane, and that's the way they want to play. But of course that 1 man extra has just been a bonus. Money in the bank for West.
Gibbs busting clear of Renoff. Taylor quickly to Thomas, who got behind him and onside. Wynn cleverly to Taylor. Taylor skating away. He came back into the arms of Hoff. It's on the last tackle. Will they chance it? Henjack out quickly to Wynn, to Burns, to the corner. Back for Devine. And once more, right at the death, Brisbane survived the situation.
Good play by Ivan Henjack on the Nissan replay. Looking at it, he went up the blind side where Brisbane was short on numbers. But a great tackle on Burns by the Brisbane Broncos. Brisbane Broncos winger Willie Kahn.
Donnelly. Hone. 17-10 the Magpies over Brisbane. 15 minutes to go. Langer. 11 all the missed tackles. Brisbane get a much-needed penalty. Johns was quick to McCallum to look for the restart, but they'll go for the distance with the kick. Hoff gets it down over halfway. West will play the majority of the season, if not the rest of it, without Bobby Lindner, who broke a leg here a couple of weeks ago. The test man is down sideline with the man he took over from, Wayne Pearce.
Well, Bobby, I suppose going into half-time you had your heart in your mouth because the Magpies were struggling somewhat, but they've come out in the second half playing very strong football.
They have done. It's taken them a little bit of time in the second half to adjust against the wind. The first 10 minutes or so was a bit iffy, but they've turned it around by the looks of it. And if we can keep control of the ball and keep it down our end of the field, we're going to be in with a big chance with this game.
You broke your leg in the last match we televised 2 weeks ago against Canberra, and unfortunately it seems to happen at this time of the year, the representative time of the year for you, just about every year.
Well, you know, there's not a good time of the year to break a leg, but yeah, I was unfortunate this year, and you know, I'll be out for another 5 weeks, which just puts me right on the last state of origin, or if not a little bit later than the last state of origin. So that's unfortunate, but I'll be looking forward to getting back after 5 weeks, and hopefully to a team which is pretty close, or if not in the 5. And the way we're going, it looks as though we could do that.
all the best with your comeback, and hopefully see you in 5 weeks' time.
Thanks very much.
On the paddock.
Bobby Lidner. That would be a quick comeback, wouldn't it, from a broken leg?
Certainly would be, and what would that be? 7 weeks out. Here's Brisbane up to the halfway mark. They're still in there trying.
And still with a mile of time, Langer. He was looking for support on the outside. There was nobody there. Tessman. Tessman will play it. 48 metres out from the west line. Walters to Donnelly. 8-5 the penalties to Brisbane. They received 4 straight after Kerrod Walters was sent off. Johns! They are way back into this game. Miracle bounce. And a deathly silence here at Campbelltown tells you that Brisbane are back again. Great kick, great bounce, and Johns is right next to the post.
On the Nissan replay from Terry Madison to Alan Langer, and Langer again, a beautifully judged kick. No doubts about Chris Johns being onside. Look at the bounce. Fortune favours the brave, and Chris Johns in for the try under the sticks to put the Broncos right back in it.
Langer starts so many things for this Brisbane side, and here he does it again. He had a look, read that Burns was up, put the ball back over the top. A football can do funny things to you with the shape of it, but this time it bounced up into the arms of Chris Johns, who went round for a vital try.
Chris Johns, 27 years of age. He may not score a more important try. Madison next to the post. West may have thought they got clear. They may have thought they were clear enough. They're not. The Broncos are back again, 17-16.
I wonder if Brisbane get close, if they might just try and kick the field goal and settle for the 1 point for a draw.
With the 12 men, you'd have to be happy with it, wouldn't you? Last tackle. Khan is flying down there on Devine. He's not going to get him. Kevin Walters slips over. Stepping is Devine and stepping well. Now he loses it.
There's the mistake that Brisbane wanted. It came from Devine after a strong run.
Walters.
He has been shaky all night.
They can force a draw here if they want to. Work to the post, take the 1 point.
I think they'll take the 4.
They want to try. 9 minutes to go here at Campbelltown. Langer. Langer still going. Kevin Walters. Taking ball and all.
They've got a big back line sweating on getting the ball.
Honer's going to set it up for them. Langer has stayed on the blind side. Madison decides to go with him. Out for Khan to the corner. Burns is there. He forces it. But they will get the ball back. They're doing everything well. Simple things. They're really playing the pressure game.
Well, they certainly are. He's another good kick by Langer. He's had a magnificent match tonight. Burns got back and forced the issue. Khan was there, but Western Suburbs are making the mistakes. They should have wrapped this game up in the first half. Now they may pay the ultimate penalty and lose it.
Langer driving them mad with his kicking game. The West Wingers don't know if they're coming or going.
Taylor taking his time. He's being forced to hurry up by McCallum. Gilminster gets it away to Hoff with just 7 minutes remaining. The Broncos, 12 men. 12 for the majority of the game. Donnelly back out there. Curry couldn't handle it. There was half a chance for him. He couldn't drag in the pass. And the fumble lets West off the hook here.
Good strong run from Donnelly. Got the ball out to Curry, who was too far in front of him. Had to go back for it, and a chance went begging for the Broncos. West soaking up the time now. They're a very tired outfit, even with 1 extra man.
Gillespie, Thomas and Rampling head down for another scrum. Taylor with the feed. West looking for no mistakes whatsoever.
They're missing a cool head, and that head is Andrew Farrers. He would be fantastic in this situation for West.
17-16. 6 minutes remaining. Rampling. Rampling to the 32. Quick play of the ball, Dimmock. They're getting good position now, West, to get a kick in. Lidner's tackle. Last tackle. No pressure being applied on Taylor. Plenty of time for him to find the angle to touch. They did it superbly, West. Under pressure and all. Just the set of 6 that they required.
Paul Hoff a little too far infield for this. He didn't have to be Einstein to work out that the Taylor was going to go for the sideline and not the centre of the field, and he was too far in the centre.
Alan Langer
He's kept them alive all night. Can he do it again? Curry. If the Broncos get up, it will be one of the great wins.
It certainly will be. It'll be a great effort.
Renoff. Nearly 10,500 here at Campbelltown. Another good Friday night crowd. 10,500 who braved some fairly icy conditions too. Some overcast skies. They've witnessed a good effort from both sides. Gilmester. Ball was well and truly forward. When you get tired, you can make some mistakes in this game. Donnelly overrunning him here. Just a touch.
And the quarter line made it easy for the referee to make that decision. It makes you wonder whether or not the game should have grid lines right across the field. Every 10 metres, every 5 metres.
Henjak. Just 1 win out of 3 away for Brisbane. 1 win out of 3 at home for Western Suburbs. It looks like with 4 minutes remaining, it'll be the Magpies who will improve their home record. 17-16 it is. Rampling stepping. 13 metres out from Brisbane's line. Thomas switching. Devine. 9 metres out west. Taylor. Taylor cutting men out for Henjak to send Ainscoe on his way. Put to ground by Langer. Henjak on the last. Taylor to the in goal. Trying to trap Hoff. Hoff will get out of there.
He's only got to fall over to get out. He's 7'2".
That's about all he did. Warren Ryan on the edge of his seat. They will have to go all the way, Brisbane. Tessman. Inside 3 minutes. Bennett is desperate. Hone. Screaming out a dummy half is Madison. Walters. Keeping it alive, back to Hoff. The West defence is really milling around everywhere, knowing that this is the last throw. Langer with the kick. 2.5 remain.
Brisbane will get one more touch of the ball.
Devine.
Can he hang on to it? He has spilled it almost every time he's had it tonight.
He's injured in the tackle. McCallum will ask somebody else to play it. Now he's going to stop the clock. He's up on his feet. Brisbane with 12 men in all have scored 3 tries to 2.
Yeah, nothing can be taken from Brisbane tonight. It's been a magnificent effort with 1 man short for so long in the game, and they really have put it to Western Suburbs. 1 point the difference.
The crowd shouting their heroes home here at Campbelltown. West, West, West is the chant. Lydon. 17-16. The last. Taylor happy to keep it out near the sideline. Hoff. Casado head on. Casado hasn't put a foot wrong all night.
Hoff a couple of weeks ago was contemplating maybe giving the game away. He has certainly lost his zip. He had a long talk with Wayne Bennett. He's taken time off his job at the police force in Brisbane, and he really must be a troubled young man. His form certainly isn't the same that made him in the running for the Kangaroo Tour last year.
Langer was trying one of the kicks that has worked so well for him tonight. The West cheer squad happy that Dimmock had tidied that one up. They need to steal the ball. Langer's good at it. The Magpies trying to make it 3 out of 3 tonight. West, all 13 are virtually within 5 and 6 metres of each other. They wouldn't want to fumble the ball here because a quick spread could catch them out. There's the fumble. They're still alive.
Silly pass from Henjak. He tried to push it for an experienced player. He shouldn't have done it.
There are only 2 or 3 teams could score a try from here, but Brisbane are one of them.
Kevin Walters knocks it back. 30 seconds to go. Calm down the touch. Taylor there. He skips out of that one. Back in field looking for support. There might be time. There might be time for a miracle here from Brisbane. Big spread. Kevin Walters. Gilmester finishes with it. Can he keep it alive? Now he gets it out. Langer up the middle with a gap. Langer showing it once. Langer behind Johns. There was the hole, but they put it down. That chance there for Bennett. That says it all, doesn't it? They could have got a try on the end of that if Johns had have dragged it in. They've been coming home strongly, Brisbane. Thomas laying down the law, so's their coach, Warren Ryan. Time is up, we think. There will be nothing but running from dummy half. No need to even pass. Henjack, they don't want to get overcautious. Somebody could be penalised for not playing it properly. Rampling, taking control of the ball. The Magpies at home, coming up with some big wins in recent weeks. Gillespie. 2 tackles to go. Time is well and truly up on our clock. We're in overtime. Not any longer. The Brisbane Broncos don't get the win. The Warren Ryan Magpies coach side do. Down to 12 men. Magpie power early, but tons and tons of courage from Brisbane after they were down to 12 and Kerrod Walters was sent off in the first half. They can only contemplate what might have been. Their heads are bowed, they shouldn't be. Tremendous effort from them. And West get home. 3 tries to 2 to Brisbane, but Jason Taylor was the difference with his goal kicking. And also a field goal taken at the important time in the first half. Langer was nothing short of brilliant for Brisbane. He will be a big headache in the state of origin for the Blues. 17-16 just for West. Gillespie and Casado the tries. 4 goals from Taylor, some of them sensational efforts from a long way out. And a field goal to Taylor. Langer, Plowman, Johns the tries for Brisbane. 2 goals for Madison. 1 point will get you 2. 17-16 will get 2 Winfield Cup points for West. Quite a finish here at Campbelltown. West can wear a smile, but they only just got home in the end. We'll take a break, then back with our Nissan man of the match.
It was quite brilliant. Alan Langer down to 12 men, but it just wasn't enough in the finish, was it? The courage of the side.
Well, that's right, and tonight it was great courage, and you know, with 12 players out there and the interchange players that come on, they put in a great effort. It's really disappointing to not come up with the 2 points.
Well, what about the sleep factor at home? The birth of a baby daughter last week. You getting plenty?
Yeah, I'm getting plenty of sleep. She's great, and I know Janine and Courtney will be watching, say good day, and I'll be home tomorrow, and it's just disappointing to lose tonight.
Well, this might buy some Huggies, some nappies, $1,000 from Nissan as our man of the match. Well played.
I'd like to thank Nissan and Channel 10. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Alan Langer, superb tonight for Brisbane. Down to 12 men, a courageous display for them. We gave him 9 points. We thought it was one of his finest performances of the season. 7 points to Casado, who never stopped working, and Thomas amongst many fine players in the West forwards. You can check all those Dally M points in Monday's Telegraph Mirror, of course, and they will be playing for this fabulous Nissan Pathfinder 4x4 four-wheel drive. What a great prize it could be for our Dally M Player of the Year. It may very well be Alan Langer, who is in great touch, and that's great news for Queensland as we're getting close to State of Origin time. $25,000 worth of value in that motor vehicle. Talking of money, let's check our Footy Tab dividend.
Put your money where your mouth is. Footy Tab.
John, how many punters went for the field goal tonight?
Well, as we said, Graham, there was plenty of support tonight for Western Suburbs kicking the field goal. And, of course, that's exactly what happened. It was a very exciting victory for the home team. Western Suburbs 17, Brisbane 16. We still had plenty of winners, though, 135 of them. And that provisional dividend, $397.20.
Well, Warren, you've played without luck for much of the season, but tonight things certainly changed.
Yeah, well, I think we've used it all up in one go, though. That's what worries me. We're very, very lucky tonight, and full and due marks to Brisbane. I thought they soldiered on well with 12 men. I still have a check on how many interchanges they use. They seem to be coming and going like, traffic in Pitt Street. I suppose they only used 6, did they? Was anyone keeping count?
Well, Brisbane would have liked to have had the old interchange rule as well tonight when they got down to 12. Peter Peters got it right with a big upset tonight, but Pete, no one was banking on 12 men for the Broncos.
Certainly weren't. It was a brave effort by Brisbane to play all but 15 minutes, one man short. They've lost 3 in a row away from home, and that's where the Win Cup's going to be, away from Lang Park. They've got problems when they travel.
All right, Rugby League action continuing your way on our Leagueathon week. Of course, tomorrow, Commonwealth Bank Cup action. Robert